Hi, guys. You're welcome to another entertaining episode of the only international Christian podcast. Yes, I'm talking about 99.God, a podcast completed by God, a podcast that talks about the social issues that are affecting Christian youth. And you know how we do it over here? We break tables, we shake tables, and we make new ones. Today, we're talking about why Christians marry outside their church. And to have this conversation, I'm joined by two amazing personalities, and they'll be introducing themselves. Hi.
Hello.
What's your name?
Smart Teachings.
Okay. What do you do? Tell us a little about yourself.
I'm a media consultant. Also, professional MC, a youth advocate, and executive director of Beroses International.
Ooh, okay.
Yes, focused on marital bliss, support system for relationships, events for couples.
Wow. 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 And then we have an amazing lady in our midst as well. Kindly introduce yourself.
Hi, so my name is Marilyn Kesewa Inshabuatin, but I'm popularly known as Kesewa.
All right.
Yes, so I am a communication specialist and I'm currently working as a community manager at EXP Ghana. So it's a marketing agency in East Legon. Yeah.
All right. So let's get straight into our conversation. Now, the average Gen Z would define marriage as a legally recognized union between two people who have decided to be permanent boyfriend and permanent girlfriend to each other for life. How would you guys define Christian marriages? I'll start with Kesewa.
Okay, so for me, marriage is a sacred union.
Okay.
And it's ordained by God. And to me, it's between a man and a woman, strictly. Between a man and a woman.
All right.
So that's how I see marriage.
All right.
Yeah.
Smart.
I think marriage is an ordained path for God that every man and woman must travel on based on the purposes of God as identified in the book of Genesis.
Okay.
That we should procreate and also multiply. So it's a union and an institution recognized by God for the purposes of procreation and fruitfulness. Yes.
All right. All right. So I'm liking some shots have been fired. It's male and female only, and it's the safest haven to procreate. Those are the 2 points I've gotten so far. Yes. So what informs a person's decision to get married? I was listening to a preacher, and he said that men look at themselves before they get married, but women look at men, whether they are handsome, whether they can provide, and all those things. Why would somebody just take a step and say, yes, let's get hitched, let's save the dates, let's take photos, let's make noise, all that? Smart.
I think even from the angle that you picked the question from, that is where the problem is.
Okay.
A lot of people look at marriage as wedding. So we are talking about save the date. We are talking about photos. That's not the marriage.
Okay.
That is an event. And that event is separate from the institution. It is the event that ushers you into the institution. So when you listen to the Gen Zs today, the focus, the euphoria, all this energy and the blood boiling, it's about saving the date. It's about taking photos. It's about going to the print shop to get I am yours, you are mine, t-shirts and all that. But that particular line must be drawn, especially for the youth of today. But for a person to decide that I want to get married, you can just take a look at the Bible where scripture says that two cannot walk except they agree. So even before God destroyed the earth with the flood, he told Noah that pick two of the same kind. And so for a person who is looking to settle, be fruitful, and multiply, you should be looking for your kind. So if you're fruitful as a person and you find another person who is not fruitful, you can't work together. Because that person doesn't see progress. That person doesn't see the need to multiply. That person doesn't see the need to plan. Because if the two do not work, if the two do not come together, they cannot be fruitful. Because one will put 1,000, but two will put 10,000. It shows the energy of two people coming together. Right. So you must understand that whoever I'm picking is mankind. That's how come I always believe that when people are asking of things from their partners, they should be in the capacity to give that same thing. It shouldn't be placing a demand on your partner that you cannot provide, because it is from our provision that we can make more. But if I'm the only one providing, then it will be like the rubber band analogy, where only one person is pulling. The moment they leave it, it strikes the other person,
Yeah.
because that person is
Yeah.
not putting in any energy.
Efforts, yeah.
So the decision making for me comes with, is this person mankind? When I say mankind, I'm talking about belief system. I'm talking about value system. I'm talking about the principles of the person. I'm talking about the vision of the person. Does this person think the same way in terms of commitment, faith, work, life, and future?
Wow. Keso has been nodding her head the whole time, so I'm sure
Yes,
she
that's-
agrees with you.
Yeah, that's because I agree with him to a large extent, which is, for me, it's based on a variety of things. So it's based on religious factors, it's based on personal values, it's based on cultural values, and most importantly, financial consideration. And so a lot of people go into marriage because of the fancy idea of a wedding, right? If you want to go down that path, it's only going to lead to, you know, the breakup of the marriage, even before you get into it. And so I think that a lot of the times in our generation, it's not as before where the man sort of caters for everything. I feel that if you as your partner is unable to provide financially, you as a woman, you are also unable to provide financially. Why do you think the guy should be in that space to
That's why I'm
provide
shaking tables.
financially? Do you understand? We put too much expectations on the guy
Yeah.
to make it happen. It's not like he has a magic pot somewhere that he has the money to give you the glamorous social media wedding that you want. Are you financially ready to finance a wedding as a girl? If you're not, is the guy financially ready? If the guy is not financially ready, what kind of wedding can you have that, you know, fits both of you? Because we all see nice things on social media. We all like the nice
Yeah.
things. That shouldn't inform your kind of wedding. My
True.
kind of wedding is informed by the financial consideration. And so I feel that if the guy is, you know, financially stable, we feel that we are in that space where we've saved up enough, then that would give us that informed decision to go in, to put our feet into it. But if both of us are not financially stable, we are not ready for it. Yeah.
The two of you never mentioned physical attraction. So you go butterflies and those things there doesn't work for the two of you.
Now, physical attraction matters,
It's
but
important.
for the purpose of the union,
Okay.
it would matter less. Because I was having a conversation with Kesua before the show started, and I was telling her that the number one major thing in marriage is decision. It's not about whether you are handsome or beautiful.
Hey,
No.
shocker.
I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I
Okay.
said it matters.
All right.
But the number one thing in marriage is about, would we buy a house? Are we going for this funeral? Do we have to give money for this couple for their wedding? Decisions. When are we filling the cylinder with gas? When are we buying a new television set? When are we buying a land? Like Eswa is saying, there are various considerations when it comes to marriage. All those physical attraction, one, you cannot marry someone you are not attracted to.
People are doing it too.
Well, so for various reasons. So people only base attraction on physical appearance. Someone may be attracted to your money. Someone may be attracted to your intelligence. Someone may be attracted to the way you conduct yourself. That is also attraction. But we only see it as the facial expression, the person's looks when it comes to their face and all that. See, when I see my wife in the morning, she doesn't look like the way she was looking on the wedding day. But that is the person I chose. You understand me? I knew that that face she had on the wedding day was add-ons and, you know, extensions and stuff like that.
Okay.
I was comfortable with my choice. You understand me?
Yeah.
So you cannot see something different and say, hey, this is not the person that I saw on the wedding day, so I've changed my mind. Though the physical attraction matters, your focus in building the marriage will not be based on whether the person is tall, short, the person has a pot belly or not, the person has flat tummy or not. Those things don't matter, because I spoke to a doctor and he said, people admire the tummy of certain ladies. But the moment the person gives birth, 1, 2, 3,
Ayeka.
nature has a way.
Yeah.
Some people are able to maintain it.
Yeah.
But nature also has a way of giving your wife a new tummy
Does.
that you cannot control.
The fupa is fupa.
You know?
Yeah.
And so if you are too fixated on the physical attraction, you will lose the essence of the partnership, of the union, and what that person can actually do in your life. Yeah.
So Keswa mentioned finances. You also mentioned vision. At what point does the couple consider religion, denomination, and beliefs? Keswa, I want you to go first on this one.
So for me, it comes at the early stages of your, you
Like
know,
how early? Hi, hello. Yeah, are you a Christian? Is that how it works?
I mean, for me, almost everyone I've experienced is either you're coming to a church program with me
Hey.
or
That's
something.
right.
No, honestly, like we are always doing church something, right? So through that kind of, you know, invite and all of that, I'll get to know, oh, okay, I'm also in this church, this is what I do, or maybe you're in the same church, that's how come we met or whatever. So it's very early, and then probably the first or second dates or
The
conversations.
first or
we would
second
know.
date.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's highly important. So yes,
All right.
it definitely
So
will come
Keswa
in.
is talking on behalf of the ladies. What
Yeah.
do the guys do? Do they, at the early beginning, the stage, do they start asking about your Christian life and all that?
For me, it's a big thing for me.
All right.
I don't know for other men, but it's a big thing for me. If you are not a Christian, no. I will not waste my time talking to you.
What
Big-
if you're a budding Christian?
No. That's not. What's a bad in Christian? It's
It's
either you're a
coming, it's
Christian or
doing.
not. It's either you are
Christian or
Christian
not.
or not. You know, a growing Christian is still a Christian. You know, it doesn't. And in Christianity, I don't think we measure by years. We measure
Okay.
by faith. So the level of faith matters. You know, you have you know, we have great faith. We have little faith. We have the measure of faith that a person has. So for me, Christianity matters. So if you listen to me earlier, I said, is the person your kind? For me, it matters. Is this person having the same values I do? I cannot be in a relationship with someone who believes that every Friday must be a club night. When I'm thinking of all night,
Yeah.
she is thinking of club night.
What if the club is a club that they play only Christian music? There's a bar in Ghana
I don't want the club
right
like
now
that.
at Tesano, no names mentioned, and they play strictly Christian music. Yes, Eden Bar.
Eden Bar.
Yeah.
You see, so
It's a vibe.
that is my point. Keswa said, where are we going? See, when I met my wife, she was inviting me to Christmas carols night.
Hey.
She was inviting me to
Yeah.
church
Mrs.
services.
Nixon.
Yes.
Okay.
Church services
We
and all
see
that.
you.
And
Conferences.
I would also draw you. We started with play productions. You are coming to the church small.
Exactly.
You know, and so you must test the person's response to the things of God. It matters. Because I personally don't see myself with someone who does not see God in their life. So Christianity, faith matters to me. And if you're a Christian who listens to 99.God, it should matter to you. You don't just go into, so the person is handsome, but the person doesn't respect God. What kind of fine boy is that?
Okay. That's a question you should be answering. What kind of fine boy is that? Now, the question of the day. Why do people marry outside their church?
It's like, guess what?
Yeah, you should.
I married outside the
Exactly.
church.
So you should start.
So, shots fired. Why did you go
I'm yet
outside
to
the
get
church?
there.
There was no flower in this garden, in the church that you find yourself in. Why did you marry outside the church?
So I think that before I met my wife, I was in a number of relationships in my church.
Okay.
Okay. Now what happened was, in all of those relationships, I wasn't finding what I was looking for.
Sir?
Yes, I wasn't. If you were eyeing me,
for?
right?
What were you
Guess what?
looking
Guess
for?
what? Please ask him.
Today we need to know.
We need to know what
Hey!
you're looking for.
It's like you decided to gag me on this show.
Yeah.
So at the time, I was a struggling young man.
Okay.
Yeah, very struggling. Really struggling. If you understand what I mean.
Hey.
I'm a brepa.
Charlie.
What kind of a bread?
This is therapy for him.
Serious
Oh
therapy,
my
you know.
God.
So when I sold my dream to the people I was with, they didn't see it. They couldn't fathom where I was going because my present was not promising.
Bosheba.
But, Ohima, but I realized that most of them were more concerned about the now than the later.
Okay.
I keep telling people that I didn't need a prophecy to know where I was going because I had plans. I had God and I knew where I was going. I'm that person. Everything I do in my life is very calculated. I'm a pedantic, so everything matters.
Break it down.
Yeah. I like detailed stuff.
Okay.
I don't like people who say, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
No. At least there should be some level of certainty. Not less than 70%. We must know this thing.
So
will
calculated
work.
risks.
Yes, I like that.
All right.
Okay. So when I met my wife, what happened was, what caught my attention is that I'm not the one that even started the conversation.
Okay.
And she was more in tune with knowing my future. So recently, we were having a conversation at home, and I was telling her that where I am today, she said it to me 4 years ago.
Oh, guys, marry a prophetess. It will change your destiny.
So that's how come I'm saying that. I am not surprised.
Yeah.
So someone didn't see 4 years ago. Someone didn't see 4 years ago. So there is this joke we have at home that nowadays people meet me and they're like, hey, your wife is lucky. I said, no, she is not. You see it as luck. She knew it. She knew what she came in for. But you're like, hey, she's lucky. Oh, now she's enjoying. She's not enjoying anything. She's living the life she committed herself to that others didn't. So because I didn't find what I was looking for, it necessitated the move to go outside the church. And it was not intentional.
Okay.
It wasn't intentional because my wife was my colleague in school.
Okay.
So it wasn't like I went looking for someone outside the church. It was not part of my plans. Because when I met my wife, I didn't want to date.
Hey.
Yes. I didn't want to, yeah. And she knows it. It's not like when we met, I didn't want to date. So I think that it took, when I took her contact, I didn't call her for a while. So she met me on camera and said, hey, you took my number, but you didn't call. But then you could see that everything was built gradually on genuine thoughts. So it wasn't like, people go searching outside. I didn't go searching. I think love found me outside.
Bohobium.
God of Love GPS is your baby again. Asking Keswa what's her take. Also, will be on the matter.
This matter. So,
Why would
so
people
for me,
Yeah.
I think that it's finding your person,
All right.
right? So I have also tried, talking to a couple of people within the church. But then it's about finding someone that aligns with your vision and your goal, and someone that you know that would be a good team player. Because there are lots of people that see the outward, see that, oh, you are well exposed, you are well spoken, and it's attractive. But then you have a plan, you have a goal. Who can be on that journey with you? Because the beginning is never easy, right? Yeah. So you talk to a couple of people and you realize that, okay, I'm someone that I'm independent. I like to do my own thing. I like to achieve. I'm very aggressive when it comes to achieving my goals and everything. And you're finding people that are just coming to collect. They're not pouring into you.
Yeah.
They're not pouring anything good, anything that you can fly with. You don't waste your time. You just have to move past that. And so just like Smart, I didn't go looking. It just landed
Afa.
on my laps, if I should put it that way.
Okay.
Right? And finding someone outside the church who is also, a kingdom person, minded person, someone who is a church worker and all of that, and you align very well with the person understands your vision, you understand his vision, and you guys are good team players. Why not? So definitely it's about finding your person. You don't force it. You can't force it because if you force it, one day the bubble will burst.
So would you say church hurts fueled your decision making in a subtle way? Maybe you weren't like mad, but the people in the church didn't see what I was seeing, the future I envisioned, and some of them were just playing games. They didn't even want to pour into my cup as I was pouring into theirs. Would you say church hurts, generally, maybe not for you, but church hurts fuels the decision-making of people who marry outside their church?
Yeah. For me, I think that people react differently to situations. So someone will be hurt once and not want to go back there or be in the same community or environment. But I feel that everyone is different, everyone is unique. And so I could, say, have a relationship with Smart, for example, and it wouldn't work well, it didn't end well. That doesn't mean that I wouldn't try, let's say, Elikem or someone, right? I would definitely try Elikem because Elikem is not Smart. But there's some people that would just generalize everyone as being like Smart in the church, and I'm not like that.
What if Elikem
right?
is Smart's friend? Don't you think that they would have shared some notes?
I don't
You
believe.
don't think
I
it
don't
will
believe.
influence how Elikem behaves towards you, and then subsequently Elikem hurts you again because he has your track record. He's been well informed about how you behave, and then it's a cycle. It's an endless cycle, and that's what fuels you going outside the church.
So I don't do friendship groups, right?
Okay.
I think it's quite dangerous because they think alike, they act alike, and do a lot of things together. And so if I'm moving on, it wouldn't be in the same circle, right? It has to be in a different circle because I mean, Elikem would have had updates on my relationship with Smart or whatever, and it's not healthy. You're already starting off from a very toxic place.
But guess what? Accra is small. So what if Elikem posted you randomly, or maybe his location? Social media is crazy. Like, I can tell that you were around this person. And you're like, oh, Shale, you know this girl? They've had the conversation, but you don't know about it. You are being conscious of not dating in the same friend group.
Okay.
But here's the case where they are still... Could it be that that's the reason why people don't date in the church? Because church is a community, word spreads fast. It's a big church, but the concern is faster than the word of God in the church, in some churches.
I mean, it
Say-
could be. Surprisingly,
Yeah.
yes, it could be. Because there are so many people that know your business and you have absolutely no
No
idea
idea,
about.
yeah.
So it could be a reason why people would just want a fresh new start outside the church, right? So I think that that's for people. But I still feel that I could try it one more time before concluding that church guys is not
some
for
way.
me. Yeah.
Interesting. Smart.
Yeah.
What's your take on this?
This thing,
I can see.
Well, I think that some people do not know how to manage hurt,
Okay.
rejection, whatsoever you like to put it. Because for the side of the man, he has to try proposing to more people. From the side of the woman, she doesn't have to propose to more people, but she just has to move on and still convince other people that she's no more with this particular person.
Okay.
All right. So they are two different dynamics.
Okay.
For the man, he knows that I propose to someone in the choir. He might not want to go into the choir anymore. He will be trying meeters and greeters. So if it is not meeters and greeters, then maybe I'm going to the ushering department. But for a lady, what she has to convince herself about is, I'm no more with this person. I must make the message clear to other people so I can have more approach from other men.
All right.
So people don't manage hurt well. They don't manage rejections well. Because, you know, as human beings, you're going to be hurt regardless of the environment you find yourself in. If it's an office setting, you're going to see the person every day.
Every single day.
Okay?
Wow.
So in the church setting, you're going to see the person every Sunday.
And Tuesday.
And hey,
Depending on the services. I mean,
and Tuesday.
and cell meeting.
And you know, and sometimes SES. You will see a person everywhere.
And now we have, fasting every
And now we are fasting
Yeah.
every last week of the
Charlie.
month.
the month, yeah.
So you will see the person consistently.
Yeah.
But then again, the issue about people not wanting to date in the church anymore is that the conversations are more. Church is a community where when someone starts seeing someone and there is this, I'm trying to choose my words well. Because, you know, in my church,
Yeah.
the church I'm in, everyone wants to have an opinion about your relationship.
Yeah.
And they think they are the best when it comes to counsel. And they think that the moment you are dating someone, you should submit the person to them because they have the final authority. But the truth of the matter is that they are not. They are just not.
Yeah.
It is God. The fact that the pastor has a good recommendation doesn't mean whatever he says is the will of God.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, he may have a good recommendation, but it doesn't mean what he's saying is the will of God. Someone will propose and say, I wish you would date in the church because they want to grow the church.
Yeah.
They believe that when we marry in the church grows, the same teachings,
Doctrines,
the same
everything.
doctrines,
Yeah.
and we are all receiving the same message. When we are coming for services, I know where my wife is. But my wife is in a different church, and I'm in a different church. If she takes her salary to sow a particular seed or first fruit, I have no idea. And things
10,000
like,
cedis.
10,000 cedis. Hey, babe, we need a new floor mat and a new rag. You are sowing seed of 10,000. So
get it,
it is the
yeah.
reason why a pastor would want people to stay inside. So if somebody is hurt and they cannot manage that rejection, they cannot manage that pain, they wouldn't want to look into the same community again. They would feel like, I am comfortable looking outside than looking inside. But I have had a very funny one too. This one, there was a survey about why certain people in the church couldn't date other people in the church. And the responses we got were, some people said when they do things with the boys, they can't come and stand in church and be raising their hands next to the same boy. The boy say, hey, look at how you are worshiping God, but you were with me yesterday and you were doing things.
Yeah.
So 99.God should address, all
We
these
will.
things.
We
That's
will.
why you look outside.
Okay.
Because that one, when you do and you come, you can raise your hand.
Yeah.
Your dirty linen is outside.
Yeah, I feel you. It's
know.
true. It's very true. People, I agree with the points you guys have made. The process of dating in some churches is demeaning, especially for the ladies. Some spiritual parents would like to make suggestions, and some people go all the way to impose their suggestion. And some of the men are not able to defend their choices before their spiritual parents. So if you're a girl now, it's like you have to be relaxing your standards, putting yourself out there even more, and then before you realize, because the guy is telling you that, but me, it's not like I like you like that. You're the one who brought yourself. Things like that are
Girl.
happening in the church. I've reminded you of something.
Assembly.
Oh my God. So yeah, the next question I have is, if you date or if you marry someone from outside the church, how would you guys be spiritually accountable to each other? How will you know that the person's faith is still going? The faith that attracted you to make that decision. Now you're no longer in the same church. You're fellowshipping as Catholic and Charismatic or Presbyterian and Methodist. How is accountability going to be like for you? Because you need a solid spiritual foundation to grow your family, to increase, to multiply, to be successful. Keswa, would you like to go first on this one?
Yeah, so I would say that having like open conversations, communication with your partner is very key, and also observing. So even if you are in different churches, right, you visit your partner's church and vice versa, and you watch how he does things, how he worships. If he's a church worker, how active is he as a church worker? Because the person can be in your church and not active, right? The person can be here.
Is your
and not-
handbag a living, breathing
Literally.
handbag?
just a seat warmer.
Yeah.
And not literally not be active.
Yeah.
Is that better than dating someone who is like active?
Look, someone
Same.
say yes.
Someone will say yes, but then I mean it's the person's faith, the person's worship, the person's activeness in the church and stuff like that. That eventually, one person would have to give up and move to the other side. Eventually, some people are, but it's not easy because it's easier when you're in the same space, listening to the same preaching. Because a lot of times that where I church, right, they preach about marriage, and you would wish that your partner was right next to you, because maybe that morning you've had some serious arguments or some fights, and if he heard what the pastor said, he'll probably be forgiving you.
Yeah.
You'll be trying to reach out to hold your hand there, and then you sort it out. But if it's a different church and he's heard some different preaching that day, he's still angry when he gets home. He's not okay, you understand? So I think that eventually it will get to that point where one person would have to eventually join the other in the church so that you'll be able to, be accountable to each other spiritually. But then it's quite difficult to do that from like different churches. Yeah.
Smart, anything to
Because standards are built on principles. If you're with somebody, you must begin to understand their biblical principles. It's key. So, like I said, if I give an example, you say I'm talking about my wife too much. So, I remember once when my wife started work, she called me one day and she said she was going to use all her first salary as first fruit.
Hey.
And because I have heard a sermon on first fruit,
Exactly.
I could understand where she was coming from.
Exactly.
Okay, so those biblical principles are like a guiding compass for the relationship so that it doesn't sound new to you. It doesn't become alien to you.
Yeah.
You understand that, wow, this person understands the concept of our faith
Yeah.
and can go to this extent. So this person, if I also take out, let's say 2K as a seed offering,
Yeah.
she would get it because you are receiving similar
message, yeah.
messages. And so the idea of accountability, scripture says that the intent of a man is like deep waters, and the one with understanding will draw them out. So if you do not understand the person very well, you will not get their intent about life, about faith, about religion and all that. And we must be careful the way we think that when someone is in a different space, we just trust them and not know what they are doing. Accountability matters because, like Keswa was saying, communication. Chip in once in a while. What did you learn in church today?
Yeah.
Can you share your message with me? And you must have that kind of habit in the relationship. Be concerned about their messages that they are hearing. Because today there are false prophets everywhere. There are churches built on different dogma, different human traditions and all that. So what someone hears matters. Because what you hear is what makes you. That's your frame. So if the person needs to be accountable, you must play a role. And that role is finding out what they heard, what they are committed to, what they believe in, what they don't believe in. Ask them questions about tithing. Do you believe in tithing? What is your perception about tithing? Don't just assume that because they are Christians, they are going to church, they are coming back, they believe in tithing. You must know, what do you think of seed offering? All of these things matters because God has challenged you in prayer. God said, give me 5K. Then this person is saying that, hey, pastor, no do sika.
Yeah.
This pastor is spending your money. Why are you giving? It means that the person doesn't understand.
Yeah.
And you didn't get that early because those were not questions that came up.
Yeah.
And you're experiencing it in marriage. You're like, but I thought he was a Christian. No, he is not a full Christian.
He's a Christian, but he doesn't like 5K.
Yeah, doesn't like 5K offering.
True.
You know.
So my next question will now be the beliefs. You know that there are differing beliefs, there are different doctrines. How would you guys strike the balance between the different doctrines that are shared in church, especially if it's a man and a woman, and the man is saying that my church, they said we should do it like this, and your church as a lady is saying otherwise. It's not like yours is wrong, but he's the man of the house as well. How would you guys be striking the balance between different doctrines because you are from different denominations or you are different churches? Maybe you are both charismatic, but the energies are different.
This question.
Yeah.
This is why I say you should try and bring one person to the other side. It just makes it easier. Because
What if you don't? What if you can't? What if you want it to be gradual? You want the person to feel like it's their decision they made. So it's subtle. But till then, how are you guys going to manage the differences?
Because, well, let me say something. In Colossians 2:8, scripture says that beware lest any man spoil you through hollow philosophies, genealogies, or human traditions, rather than the things and the principles of Christ. Okay? When you take a look at denominations and you pay attention to the things that we do in our denominations, what I find varying are traditions.
Okay.
Not necessarily the intent of the message. So, for instance, the focus of Christianity is to have eternal life. is to win people to Christ, for many to come to the saving knowledge of Christ. However, the route to that differs. It means that the tradition, the ritual, or the path I would use would differ from the path that Kesua will use. Let me give you an example. Giving 1/10 of your salary, your earnings to God is tithing. In a particular church, they believe in documenting it. In another church, they don't believe in documenting it. Everyone just goes forward, drops it in a bowl, and they walk away. In another church, they must record it. But what is the intent? The intent is to give it. So whether it is documented or not documented, it doesn't matter. So long as the person is what? Doing the act. That is the most important thing. You understand me? When we come to marriage, right? One church believes that we don't necessarily need to come to your home and do a background check of anything that is in your home. Another church also believes that no, we must check the background of the gentleman. Does he have a home that you are going to? It's not like we don't know the kind of lifestyle he's taking you to. It has a purpose to make sure that you are going to a safe place, to make sure that this man who is picking you is going to be in the capacity to take care of you, to feed you, to give you good shelter. Not like Wabefa or the Woko. That's why there is a popular joke that the gentleman said, "You are all I have." And when they go home, he had no bed, no fridge, no TV. And the lady said, "Hey, is this where you are bringing me?" He said, "I've been telling you before.
You are all I
You
have."
are all I have." You get it? So all of these things matter. So let us always focus on the intent of the Christian, the intent of the person. Denominations vary and the way they approach Christ vary. But the principles of God remain sure. The principles of God is prayer. The principles of God is fasting. The principles of God is building a relationship with your maker. The principle of God is sharing the saving knowledge with another person. Those are principles. However, the traditions will vary. Someone will say, you must hold a candle before you pray. Another person will say, you must kneel down before you pray. Someone says, don't close your eyes. Your eyes can be open before you pray. All those things are human traditions. They are a person who stood aside and said, I think we can do it like this. And another person said, we can do it like this. 10 plus 10 is 20. 30 minus 10 is 20. You know, so it doesn't matter how the person will get there, but if you feel uncomfortable about someone's way to the knowledge of Christ, you should step aside.
There'll definitely be a part 2 of this this topic, because the tables we are shaking is like we have to take our time and shake it and break it and then make new ones, like I said early on. So the last question I have before we wrap it all up would be, okay, it's actually 2 questions, but we'll make it one.
Okay.
Why are ladies running away from church boys? And what are the challenges of dating in the church? We'll just spend a few minutes on this and then wrap the episode up.
Why are you running away from church boys?
So, let me not get personal or emotional, but I think that everyone has their reason, right? I think for some people it's because maybe they are being too demanding, and because I've heard so many stories where a lot of church guys are more like, oh, yame beye, you know, God will provide, you know, and they're not putting in so much effort in trying to be financially stable.
So that's the issue.
Or financially independent, right? That's just one angle of it. I'm sure there are many others, right? But from what I know is because a lot of these guys don't put in so much effort in being financially stable. They are waiting for some miracle money or some rich man in church to bless them with a car, a free car, or
work it,
house.
girl, work it. I'm loving this.
You know, it's always those kind of conversations, right? But how do you secure a future with such a person? Do you understand? So you are working hard. A lot of women are working hard, taking up roles, managerial roles in companies or in society as a whole. And they find themselves in places where they are providing or supplying for the guy. And in our African society, it's seen as the other way around, right? The man is supposed to be the provider. You are supposed to be the support or whatever. But now things are turning around a bit. And it's okay to, if you, the lady, you have money now and you want to support the guy, it's okay. But if the problem is when the guy gets comfortable, it's like, I'm providing and you're comfortable. I'm not seeing you being aggressive. I'm not seeing you putting the effort. And I'm consistently providing for you. I will flee.
Yeah.
Because there's no future in that.
She's not flee.
Yeah. There's no future in that. How often am I going to find myself in that situation? I'm a lady. I want to be pampered. I want to also feel like
baby
the
girl.
woman. I want to feel protected. Like, you want to feel like your man is the man. As much as I have, the finances to do whatever, I still want to feel like my man is the man.
Yeah.
But if you are just there and just chilling and waiting for someone to bless you with the car or with the house so that, it looks like you're doing well. Yeah, a lot of them are just waiting to be gifted. Really, even the wedding day, they are waiting for, the big men in church to bless them. Honestly, and I am in so many of these conversations and it's upsetting because why would you be waiting on that, right? You know that you're not earning enough, but then there are so many people that are doing more than one job. You can do so many things. You're a young lad. You can sell phones. You can do like 3 or 4 jobs, all in a day just to make different sources of income. So why would you be waiting for a blessing or expecting someone to bless you? It doesn't work like that. And so I think that for me, if most of the guys are doing that, they are just comfortable with you providing, I wouldn't date them.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think some of the other reasons some of the ladies have shared with me would be that the men sometimes approach dating like it's a 5-fold ministry. They take different channels before they get to the girl. Oh, yes.
So you guys will not blast us the way you like.
It's true. So instead of speaking to the girl directly and knowing who she is,
they talk to your spiritual authorities, they talk to your friends.
Exactly. I'm not saying don't, but talk to her as well. Because it would interest you to know that in as much as we are encouraged to share, and then people should guide us, people should mentor us, some people secretly hate you. And this is an opportunity for them to influence people's decisions about you. And you give it to them on a silver platter when you ask everybody but the person you are interested in. Some people also have the issue that when you are dating somebody in the church, the person makes everything about your relationship about the church. So a service is a date. If they don't see you in church, they are not going to make an effort to see you anywhere else. And no offense to restaurants around the church.
A service is a date.
Sis, you are saying something.
Hey.
It's like some people are not so happy about the fact that they are men. Assuming they found the men in the church, only take them to restaurants around the church.
Yeah.
Like everything is around the church or in the church. There's no efforts made. Then there's also the whole approval process. It is true that like people appreciates counseling. Like the advantage of dating somebody in the church is that you get free counseling from people who matter to their relationship, the stakeholders, the board of directors of the relationship. But there are some people who bring unsolicited counsel.
Yeah.
It's like they let's assume that you and Smart are going out. Their spiritual authority does not like you, Keswa, because you come off as too loud or outspoken, a go-getter. And the spiritual parent has benefited from a marriage with a calmer person and believes that such people are suited for destiny, for an amazing destiny. And you're not like that. Or maybe the person cannot dictate things to you, like you're not moldable, you're not they can't manipulate you. So they find their way to give advice that insinuates that you're not good enough. Meanwhile, the issue is not necessarily about something you're doing wrong. It's just about you. The fact that they don't like you. So that's some of the reasons why people don't date people in the church. Then I've also heard, I think, Smart, you have to speak on this, and then we call it a day, that some church guys take advantage of the fact that the advice that, so let me say it this way. Women are given advice to improve upon their men catching skills, especially in the church. They are groomed to know how to take care of a man, how to do this, how to do that. And low-key, the way they apply these principles makes it a turn-off to men. It's like they come hungry and just wanting a marriage. And men want to, their commitment must be nurtured. You don't make a man feel like he has lost his ability to choose because you want to get married to him. He also has to feel like he wants to get married to you. So with that, it's like the church sets up women for heartbreak because they just help them improve their men catching skills, but they don't customize their advice and then also work on who they are so that the men catching skills can work. And because of that, men love church girls because they can take advantage of them. That is one of the people, some people shared their takes with me before this podcast. So Smart, what do you have to say about this? We have 20 seconds left. We want a simple TED talk, and then
So what I would say is that for most ladies, what I want them to understand is, regardless of how ready you are for marriage, you can't propose to a man. A man must decide to settle with you.
even in 2024.
See, you would make advances, you would give cues, but the man is the only one who has that decision. You can decide. So if you're deciding way too much, I had an issue that I was dealing with. A lady called me, and the gentleman she met only mentioned in a phone conversation that he wants to settle this year. And the moment the guy said that, this lady is putting pressure on the guy, and I asked her, because this is a tricky one, did he say he wants to settle with you? Or he wants to settle this year? Because there are two different communications.
Yeah.
Then she now thought about it and she realized that the gentleman never referred to her. He said he wants to settle this year, but not with her. He has not chosen you. So people always jump onto the bandwagon when they hear someone wants to settle, someone is ready for marriage. And sometimes, like you said, and I'm very, very glad you brought that up, some of these counselors and spiritual heads, mentors, start saying that, oh, you are ready for marriage. You know, let me just grab someone for you. So they start putting the word out there that, oh, Smart is ready. You know, have you considered Smart? Oh, I think that you should be friends with Smart. And maybe Smart has not thought of Kesua. But then that mentor, because has interest in Kesua, will say, approach Smart, get to know him. And Smart will be sitting in somewhere like the Gen Zs will say. He's sitting in somewhere, you bring your body like that, he will use, dump you, and at the end of the day, Charlie, you were the one who was pressuring me. I didn't really say that I want to be with you. So ladies must understand that no fruit goes to the market to be sold.
Hey,
No fruit. No
this
fruit.
proverb there.
Like a fruit must be plucked. Someone must walk to the tree to pluck the fruit. So no matter how ready you are, how ripe you are, stay there. In your value. Stay there. In your capacity. Stay there in your spirit-filled self. Someone will come and pluck you, because the moment you walk from the tree to the market, everyone will be interested in buying it. And at that time, you have reduced your value because you came with no value.
Now you're in bulk.
Watch it here. You are in bulk. You understand me? So the guys would always take advantage of it because they didn't walk to the tree to pluck it. You walked there. And so they are at the advantageous point because they don't need to take decisions. You are always asking, so when will you see my parents? He has never asked you that. You are the one always saying, you know, I can even buy some of the engagement items.
Oh, pray, oh, pray.
Oh, pray. Oh, pray. So when you go home, just put Kofi Kenata's song on repeat. Oh, pray, Dodo. And you can say bye-bye to some of these problems. It won't happen again in 2024.
Okay, guys, I know you didn't want this conversation to end, and frankly, so did I. It has been very interesting, and you should definitely watch out for a part 2. So this is us asking you to come here same time, and then let's make this happen. It's a day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and make a podcast in it. Hallelujah. Yeah. Okay. So please like, subscribe, follow, share, comment. Let us know your take on why people marry outside their church. Until next time, this is a podcast completed by God. It's been 99.God, and I have been here with
Smart Teaching Nixon.
And
Marilyn Kesua and Shrabuating.
see you same time on the next episode. Follow us on all our socials at PN Generation, TikTok, Instagram, and X. This has been Daniela Afo.